Why did Harper Lowell's Christmas song capture the moment she was still alive, while someone behind her was already sealing her fate? She sat on the edge of her bed, fairy lights glowing softly around her, singing with that quiet voice everyone loved. But halfway through the chorus, her smile faltered. Her eyes drifted past the camera as if she'd just seen something she wasn't expecting. And in the blurred shadows behind her, a figure shifted. Recorded. December 22 to 11:14 p.m. Her mother would replay those final seconds until the day she died, because the look on Harper's face wasn't fear, it was recognition. Grace Lowell didn't know her daughter had recorded anything that night. She only found the clip after the police took her phone, after the town woke up to a video that shouldn't have existed. And as millions shared it with hashtags calling it the Christmas clue, Grace couldn't understand why the world saw answers, while she saw a cry she never heard. The viral clue no one understood. Dylan Mercer was the first to freeze-frame it. He knew Harper better than anyone at school, and the moment her voice cracked at the end, he knew exactly what that meant. She only sang like that when she felt cornered. But what cornered her in her own room? What made her glance over her shoulder like someone she trusted had betrayed her? But one detail didn't add up. Deputy Mark Ellison watched the video 5 times before he caught it. The faint reflection in Harper's window. Not a stranger. Someone who knew her room. Someone who knew how to move in it without making a sound. Lucas Bray's name came up faster than anyone expected. Not because he was guilty, but because he lived close enough to see Harper's bedroom light from his front porch. And when police knocked, he said the words that changed everything. "I haven't seen her in days." But Mrs. Helen Draper, the one woman who remembered Harper's voice better than her own heartbeat, noticed something even the detective missed. Clue number 1. The shadow moves before she does. If Harper recognized the person behind her, then this wasn't a break-in. It was a betrayal, and the world had just watched it happen in real time. So who was in that room with her before the camera stopped recording, and Harper Lowell disappeared? If Harper knew the person standing behind her, why didn't she scream? Deputy Ellison slowed the video to half speed, watching Harper's eyes flick upward, just once. Not terrified, not surprised, just disappointed. Clue number 2, recognition, not fear. Grace Lowell sat across from the detective, hands shaking, replaying that same moment. She whispered, "She only looked like that when someone broke her trust." And suddenly, the investigation shifted from strangers to someone close. Dylan Mercer pointed out something everyone had missed. Harper's lips moved at the very end, forming a single word, too soft to hear but clear enough to read. A name. She mouths a name. Ellison zoomed in, expecting it to match their main suspect. But it didn't match Lucas Bray at all. It matched someone no one had questioned. Someone who had access to her house. Someone who knew her routines. New suspect unlocked. Mrs. Draper confirmed it instantly. That's the name she said when she felt safe, or when she felt betrayed. So why would Harper whisper that name, moments before she vanished? Why would Harper whisper the name of someone she trusted, seconds before she disappeared? Deputy Ellison enhanced the frame until her lips were crystal clear. Grace leaned forward, breath trapped in her chest. The word Harper formed wasn't panic. It was heartbreak. Clue number 3, a trusted name. The name she whispered was Mark. Not Lucas. Not Dylan. Mark. And in the interrogation room, Deputy Ellison felt the floor drop out beneath him, because that was his name. But Grace Lowell shook her head instantly. No. She wasn't talking about you. Not the detective. There was only one other Mark in Harper's world. A man who had been in the Lowell house far more times than Ellison ever realized. A man with a key. Grace whispered it like a confession. My brother, Mark Rivers. New lead Mark Rivers. Dylan's face drained of color. He was at the choir concert last week. Harper wouldn't even look at him. Mrs. Draper closed her eyes, remembering Harper's strained voice. She told me someone she trusted was crossing boundaries. So why was Mark Rivers in the shadows of her room on the night she vanished? And what did Harper see that cost her everything? What was Mark Rivers doing in Harper's room? And why did he try to erase the proof? Deputy Ellison recovered a hidden cache of phone data the viral upload didn't include. 10 seconds before Harper began singing, the camera wasn't pointed at her at all. It was aimed at the doorway. Recovered footage, hidden 10 seconds. In that doorway, a silhouette appeared, broad-shouldered, unmoving, not lurking, waiting. And Harper's voice could be heard saying softly, "I don't want to talk right now." Grace Lowell collapsed into the nearest chair. She knew that tone. That was Harper's boundary voice. Boundary crossed. When Ellison zoomed in, something else surfaced. Mark Rivers wasn't just standing there, he was holding something. Not a weapon. Something worse. A small gift box. The same box he'd left on their porch earlier that evening. The one Harper refused to open. The box she feared. Dylan whispered the question no one wanted to ask. Why bring a gift into a teenage girl's room? After 11 p.m., Mrs. Draper remembered Harper clutching her coat after choir practice, trembling for reasons she wouldn't explain. So what was inside that box? And why did Harper start recording right after she saw it? What was inside that small box that made Harper start recording? As if she needed proof. 3 sentences. Deputy Ellison placed the box on the evidence table, still sealed. Grace Lowell couldn't bring herself to look at it. Dylan backed away like the air around it was poisoned. Evidence number 4. The box. When Ellison finally lifted the lid, the room fell silent. Inside was a snowflake pendant. Simple, delicate, and wrong. Harper already owned one identical to it. Grace choked out. That necklace was her father's last gift before he died. So why did Mark Rivers have a replica? And why give it to her alone, that late at night? Duplicate gift equals motive? Dylan pointed to a detail that cracked the case open. The clasp on the new necklace was scratched, as if someone had forced it off her. Mrs. Draper whispered the truth no one wanted to voice. She didn't record to sing. She recorded because she felt threatened. She pressed record for protection. Ellison checked the metadata again and froze. The video didn't end because Harper stopped singing. The camera shut off mid-movement, as if someone grabbed it out of her hand. So who touched the phone? And where was Harper taken in the seconds after the recording cut out? What happened in the seconds after the camera stopped rolling? And why did no one hear a thing? 3 sentences. The room was empty when Grace finally entered Harper's bedroom the next morning. The fairy lights still flickered softly, dust motes dancing in the pale glow. But Harper was gone. Next morning, Harper missing. Deputy Ellison traced footprints across the carpet. Small, precise, leading toward the side door. Not a struggle. Not a scream. Someone had taken her carefully, almost silently. Dylan Mercer replayed the video obsessively. He noticed the shadow in the background had shifted just before the recording stopped. A subtle motion Harper's eyes had caught. Shadow moves before she does. Mrs. Draper remembered Harper whispering the night before, "He's watching. I can feel it." And Grace Lowell finally realized something chilling. Harper hadn't been recording for fun. She had been leaving a trail. A trail for someone to follow. Ellison stepped outside and checked the driveway. The snow was undisturbed except for one set of footprints that vanished near the street corner. Who took Harper Lowell, and why did the person leave no trace, no evidence? Except the final recording she made. Who could betray a family and vanish with a teenage girl, yet leave the smallest clue that cracked the case? 3 sentences. Deputy Ellison retraced the footprints through the neighborhood, cross-referencing cameras, social media, and witness accounts. Every lead pointed back to Mark Rivers, Harper's mother's brother, the man she had whispered in the final video. The truth hit harder than anyone expected. Final suspect, Mark Rivers. Evidence stacked quickly. The duplicate snowflake pendant, the hidden key to the Lowell house, and a witness who remembered seeing him near Harper's room the night she vanished. Ellison confronted Mark Rivers, showing him the viral clip frame by frame. The confession was chilling in its calmness. He hadn't meant to harm her. He only wanted to scare her, control her. But things spiraled. Grace Lowell finally saw her daughter's face in a new light. Brave, clever, leaving a trail for the world to notice. The viral video became the key piece of evidence, forcing Rivers into custody. Justice served. Dylan Mercer and Mrs. Draper hugged Grace in relief, tears streaming. The community rallied, ensuring Harper's story would never fade. Harper's bravery lived on, not in fear, but in justice for the truth she left behind. If you want more real-time, emotionally gripping true crime stories like Harper's, subscribe to The Veil of Secret. Every story uncovers hidden truths, unanswered questions, and the justice that victims deserve. Harper's voice may have stopped, but her courage echoed, reminding everyone that even the smallest clues can expose the darkest secrets.